Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm JoJo. I work for a lot of different companies in the industry and have a lot of fun. And I was lucky enough to be asked by Surf Expo to put together some programming for the show. So today we have some amazing women from the industry, which I think I can call them all friends, as well as business associates. And then we're very blessed that Ryan from MOcean, actually Cape Cod, joined us as the moderator facilitator, because that's not my favorite thing to do. But I thank you all for coming. I think that we have so many amazing women in this industry that have a lot of important insight. They're doing really creative and interesting things. And I really thank you for coming to give a listen. FYI, Sue Cooper will also be on the main stage at 3 o'clock today. She has a book, Millionaire in Flip-Flops. It's a fascinating story. Everybody has a fascinating story, honestly, on this page, including our moderator. He has a great story of how he got into the business. And so, and at 1 o'clock tomorrow, we will have another event that's our men's panel, and it's legendary shops that are thriving in a really competitive environment. Really, the shops of all shops on the East Coast of the United States, multi-generational shops. So I invite you to join us then. Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome. My mic works. That's excellent. Oh. Sorry, JoJo. Hey, we're glad you're here, and thanks to JoJo for putting this programming together for Surf Expo. Thanks to Surf Expo for seeing the value in doing this and putting these panels together as we round up. You're here for a reason. You're here because you want to learn and discuss and explore and come together as the community that our industry was absolutely founded on, to come together in the camaraderie over competition and to try and help each other succeed in what right now might be a challenging market to some, and others it's a thriving market, and we're going to get into that a little bit with some of these ladies up here. So we're going to start with some brief introductions. Ladies, I want this to be all about you, so tell us, I had some things here, how long you've been in business, give us a brief history of that, how long you've been attending Surf Expo. I'd like to know if you have an early memory of this show. One of my earliest memories was walking, we were over on the other side, but walking out, there was kind of a crowd gathering, and there was this young teenage bald-headed guy who had just won his third world championship, and Kelly Slater was sitting out there, and we got to hang out with him, and next thing I know, Kelly's in a band at the Comfort Inn playing with Donovan Frankenreiter, and I blacked out somewhere around midnight, and that was like 95. So share a story, maybe an anecdotal story about Surf Expo and being here, and then we'll get into some of the questions and talk deeper. So go ahead. Lily.
Oh God, is this
work?
Because I'm holding this. Does this work? Does this work? It's not working. I don't know. Oh, is that working? It's not working. All right. Can you hear me? Yes. All right. I'm Lily Colby from MTI's Life Jackets. It says Live Jackets, but I think that's really cool. I do sales and marketing. I kind of like the Live Jackets. I might run with that show. But it's Life Jackets, which also known as PFDs, personal flotation devices. Everyone finally got used to that. That means, of course, prevent freaking drowning. And my husband and I own MTI for sins in a past life, I think. We met working for Mad River 2 when it was in Vermont. Does anyone remember Mad River 2 before it was Confluence Watersports? It was in Vermont. It was sweet. We were in this little mountain town. And then Mad River 2 became a Confluence. And my husband is a product designer for life jackets, and he was hired by the Takashima family, who started MTI in 1991. So next year is MTI's 30th anniversary. Yeah, and Gord and I have been working for the company for 18 years. And in 2011 we bought it. So the company is still family owned, despite us, rather than the Takashima family. And my first Surf Expo was in 2008. So I've been doing this for quite a few years. But my first experience as SUP was an outdoor retailer. And we were at the lake, Salt Lake City, and used to seeing canoes, used to seeing kayaks out on the water, and there was someone out there standing up using what looked like to me as a canoeist, a canoe paddle. I love canoeing, so that was like, wow, that's familiar. But you have to stand up. Ooh, that's a little tricky. Ooh, isn't this fun? And rather than being in a canoe, you're standing up and hold different views, things, blah, blah, blah. You guys all know that. But I fell in love with it from the start. And I thought, this is so cool. And my husband was like, I'm like, no, honey, this is really cool because our kids are intrigued with this. Our kids are little that. They're like, look at that. That's so cool. So I'm like, let's go to Surf Expo. My husband was like, what? I'm from Paddleboards. Where do you kayak? And, but so didn't regret being here. And one of my memories is some sell life jackets. And that first year, people in my face yelling at me, saying, I'm never going to wear a life jacket paddleboard. Never. Never. My board is like YMCA. Yelling at me, and I'm like, okay. We are just making a product that is U.S. Coast Guard approved that meets the safety requirements. We don't yell at me. People don't yell at me anymore. Thank you. Thank you for not yelling at me.
I am Cooper from US Florida, and I own since 1998, and started as a kayak company. And then I actually came to the Surf Expo in 2006. We actually were showing our brand, so I actually had a booth for Lazy Dog. And I was shopping, because I love to shop at Surf Expo. And I ended up buying a surfboard, and because we kept getting a lot of tropical storms coming in, and I wanted to be able to surf in Key West, but the surfboard didn't work on the little waves that we get in Key West, so I ended up trying to find some paddleboards, and I called everybody, and I could not find one. This is 2007 now. I ended up calling Jimmy Lewis in Hawaii, and he turned me on to a little company in North Carolina called Real Wind, I think it was, paddleboard, or Real Wind kiteboarding.
Real.
And I ended up buying my first three Jimmy Lewis boards, and nobody ever asked to rent them for about 2 years. So we would take them camping. We had a lot of fun. They were like, it was probably the worst business decision I ever made at the time, because paddleboarding wasn't really anything in the East Coast, but it was the best employee morale decision I ever made, because everybody loved them. And so we had a great time, but so my first experience here it's always fun. I mean, I love coming back. It's changed a lot over the years, obviously. But there's always something that you can get out of it for business, and also some great people to meet. But one of the things I love about it the most is in 2009 and 10, when it was really popping for stand-up, that's about when I got into Facebook. And so many of my friends now are the friends that I've made here, and through the stand-up paddling and through the racing. And they've become part of my family. And so when we travel, like Kristen Thomas, for example, like go out to the Battle of the Paddle, and she would have us come to the house, because we all traveled across the country to go to this race, and she always opened up her door and was so welcoming. And there's so many people out there that we've seen over the years that really, it's really become more of a family and a business.
My name is Marvin. I own Southshore Paddleboards in Babylon.
Can you hear me now? I got it. Okay, so my name is Karen Marvin. I own Southshore Paddleboards in Babylon Village in New York. I opened my shop in 2014. My friend Dina actually asked me if I've ever paddleboarded before, and I said, what on God's earth is a paddleboard? She's like, it's basically a big surfboard with an oar. And I'm like, an oar? She's like, well, it's like a paddle. It's like a one-sided oar. So I said, no, I never had. So she's like, well, I have a paddleboard if you want to try it. So I tried paddleboarding. I fell in love with the sport so much that I had to open up the shop. I knew that the feeling I had being on the water was so euphoric. It was so amazing. I couldn't keep the feeling just to myself. I had to make sure that everybody had a paddleboard. Everybody got out. So the first time I tried paddling was in December on my wetsuit, and I tried it, and I loved it. And then I went paddling in February. I signed a lease in March. I'm shaking. I don't know why I'm nervous. So I tried it in February. I didn't tell anybody I was opening up a store. I told my husband. He thought I was absolutely crazy out of my mind. I told a couple people. Nobody even knew what paddleboarding was. So, P.S. I signed the lease in March, and I opened up in May. So I have been to Surf Expo. This is my 10th one. I was just talking to my friend Evelyn about it. It's a very challenging business. I think any business is challenging, but what makes paddleboarding so special to me is giving people an experience of being on the water that they never ever had before. 80-90% of my customers have never paddleboarded. So to get them out on the water to experience what I had is, for some people, it's been life-changing. Husbands and wives, 5 boards together. It's a sport that they can do together, which is so exciting to me that, you know, guy isn't going out golfing, the wife's staying home. This is something that they can both do together. It's brought me a lot of joy to teach children how to paddleboard. I have a kids camp, Southshore Junior Paddlers that we do, and I've been getting a lot of the younger kids paddling. Fast forwarding 2018, my shopping center had a fire, and I, as any business owner, would be completely devastated by it. But I was more devastated that I wasn't going to be able to get people on the water. I wasn't going to be able to sell boards. I wasn't going to be able to share that experience. The fire was in April. Within 10 days, a local yacht club asked if I wanted to open up a little shack down on the beach, and I said yes. So on the 12th day after the fire, I started business again. It was amazing. It was hot. It was amazing. I would never do business on the beach again, though. I can tell you that. But I managed to, you know, sell 60 boards in 8 weeks. So yeah, I know, it's great, right? So the vibe was still, and 8 months later, I opened up my store in November. And this is 2020, and here I am. I'm approaching my 7th year in business, loving it. My first Expo experience, I came down with my good friend Evelyn, sitting over here. And yeah, exciting stuff. I met Laird Hamilton, and I just thought I was like all that. I still remember it. And then he went to Paddle for Pink out in Southampton, and I'm like, hey, you know, remember me? He's like, yeah, I actually do remember you. So I was like, drop my life. I was like so excited. But no, Expo is always great. The people are always great. I have a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy around the sport, and we just keep it going.
All right. Hey there, I'm Paige Bakhaus. I own Watersports in Englewood.
You like a rock star.
In Englewood, you don't hear that now? I own Hooked on Sup. It's in Englewood, Florida, which is like south of Sarasota, north of Fort Myers. Really one of those places on the coast of Florida, on the west coast, that still really is still developing and still like old Florida. You can go out and not run over by boats and all that kind of stuff today. So we have some of the most like blue, pretty, awesome water that you've ever seen. And it's not turned on by boats and all that. We have mango tunnels and lots of cool stuff. So I got into paddleboarding, and I started my business in February of 2011. I originally got into paddleboarding because I was vacationing in Key West, and I went to the yoga class at Sue with Florida, at Sue's at Lazy Dog. So I literally said, this is the best thing I've ever done in my whole life. I can't imagine living without it. I have to keep doing paddleboarding. I just went home and I'm like on my phone looking at where my husband could buy me one and all that, and telling him, oh, they're only $2,000 down the road, because back then paddleboards were really, really expensive. So anyway, he surprised me on my birthday about 2 weeks later, and I was off on the board, and I didn't come back for 2 hours. He was like, oh my God, I thought you were gone. Of course, I had no life jacket, I had no leash, I didn't know anything, because he bought one at a store, you know, that just sold him a board. So anyway, paddleboarding was so new. This was actually in the end of 2010. So then I said, well, how can, I only work 3 days a week, and I was like, maybe I could paddleboarding, or maybe I could teach paddleboard yoga. How do you do that? How do you become a paddleboard instructor? So I get online and I start trying to Google it. I could barely find anything, but what popped up was paddlefit. Brody was the that had paddlefit, and he had a class 2 weeks from then in Cooper. So I went over and he said, John is off, and we went up there. And anyway, took the class. There I was, got as a paddleboard instructor, and I really didn't know how to start that, but I did. So I just kind of started a business, and it was part-time at the time. I still worked, and my business was part-time online, and I would do stuff on the weekends, do lessons on the weekends, and then finally it got to a point where I was actually turning away business to work at my real job, and I had to make a decision, and I was scared, really, really scared to not have that paycheck anymore, and I had to make that decision if I was going to jump into full-time, myself, and I did, and it's just been crazy ever since. I hit it right at the right time. The first part of 2011, it was really starting to blow up, and I was the local expert. Nobody else knew anything about paddleboarding, and I got to be really well known to be the local expert. And it just really helped. I worked with a lot of local shops that didn't have an instructor or didn't do rentals, and they were trying to sell boards. And so the way that they would sell boards was to send business to me. They knew if I got them on a paddleboard, that person would go right back and buy a board because they were going to fall in love with it right then. So it was a mutual beneficial thing for us for a while until I continued to grow and then I started selling paddleboards. So really, my business just came out of a love for paddleboarding, and I think there's a little bit of luck in it involved and timing that it happened. But I never saw my business being what it is now. I didn't see that. Brody still laughs because in that class, I'm the only person, there was about 15 of us that took the class, I'm the only person that's still in business. And then Brody laughs because he went around and asked everyone, what's your intention? What are you going to do with your business? And a lot of people, one person had like cashed in their Coca-Cola retirement to buy a bunch of, boards and open a shop. And, there was a lot of people that had, great ideas of what they were going to do for their business. And I'm like, no, I'm not really going to have a business. I just really want to teach my friends to paddleboard so I can have people that work, that I can paddleboard. And he's like, okay, whatever. And I'm the only one that's still in business after all that. So I think some of it's luck. A lot of it is hanging out with and meeting Sue. She's been the best mentor to me. I have like so many. There's way too many to count, and she probably has no idea how much she said to me. There was probably my biggest Surf Expo memory, and I came 10 years ago for my first Surf Expo. Probably my biggest memory was I was about 3 years into it, and it's been 3 years of only one day off a year, which was Christmas Day. 3 years I worked every single day, all day, and I was about to have a breakdown, and I think Sue saw that. I ran into her in the dogs, and we sat down for a minute, and she was like, I just started to tell her, and I was just about to cry because I was just so close to a breakdown. I had worked myself too hard, and she said, Paige, you have to find time for yourself. You have to, it's great that your business is, your life or whatever, but you have to find, and I'm like, but I don't think I can afford to hire someone. She said, I don't care if it's 2 hours, one time a week, hire, you can afford that. You can find someone to do that. Start there. And give yourself, because if you don't give yourself that break and that time, you're no good for your company, and your company is going to continue to go down. She was so right, and it totally changed my world because I did. I went and I hired someone for one day a week, and it completely changed my world. And having that time made me so much better while I was at work. I didn't even realize how I was going down and not paying attention to my customer service and all that. So anyway, one of my biggest advice is in business is to find someone that's a mentor to you and listen to what they say.
Hello. Hey. My name is Ashley. My shop is in Naples, Florida, right next to the Everglades, for Naples Outfitters. I am brand new. My store is a little bit different in that I got an already established store. So I started paddleboarding years ago when I first moved to Florida. I just completely found it as something brand new. I'm from Tennessee, so I spent a lot of time in the woods, never any time on the water. Moved to Florida, started paddleboarding just as a hobby, and I was teaching at the time. And the more I paddleboarded, the more I realized I wanted to do something outdoors. So I ended up walking away from my teaching job and just starting to work at Naples Outfitters just as a counterpart, selling paddleboards. And I slowly got into giving lessons, and I started with paddleboard yoga, and then I started doing instructional lessons, and I got ACA certified, and I just started kind of at the bottom, working my way up. And then last summer, the owners of the shop decided that they were done. They wanted to go to Georgia, and they wanted to build a farm, and they didn't want to do it anymore. I couldn't stand the idea of something going to someone else that I didn't know, and I just decided I had to make it work. I had to buy the shop. It needed to be mine, and that needed to be my path. And I actually have looked up to these ladies for a long time. You see people again, you don't know, but I'm one of your stalkers. I've paddleboarded a couple times at Lazy Dog in Key West, and I love it there, and I bought your book and I read it. But yeah, just, I'm really honored to be up here with these ladies who started from the ground up, and I hope that my shop sticks around. It's been around for 15 years, so I hope that I just keep going for another, forever.
After that, girls.
Introductions are done. So I heard a commonality to the beginning, your origins, of seeing some silly people standing on something out in Salt Lake City, Utah, or just had to have it, had to find it, had to jump through hoops to get one. Had a friend that made me go out in December off of Long Island in a wetsuit. Everything was wrong with that story. I'm surprised Lily's hand didn't reach out and slap you. So, and then just the passion on this. So your story is different because you're coming in at this other end of it. But the question was, you were there at the beginning, we were there at the beginning, we saw this thing just erupting, and it was like, get me on that train because it's going somewhere, and I want to be a part of that, mostly because of the passion that we have to be on the water that you share, and you want to put people on the water, keep people on the water. Well, that was then, this is now. It's 2020, we're looking back. The state of the union, as far as it appeals to your business, what are you seeing in changes, hurdles, or new opportunities? There's a lot of talk about foiling. Are you guys going to start doing some foiling down there? Or are you going to buy some wings? Or are we doing anything? Or are we good? Is the momentum still there? Is it still trucking along? The people are showing up on the beaches to rent, and we're just going to continue to grassroots grow this business. So kind of we're not looking for hard numbers. We're looking for that gut check of where are we at, and where are you at, and what's that look like going into 2020?
Okay, as a gut check, when people ask me that question, Ryan, about the industry changing because it came in such gangbusters, I would have to say that my response would be, as long as there's water, there's going to be paddleboarding. Okay, as long as there is people that want to be out on the water and experience what it feels like being out there, there'll still be paddleboarding. Yes, it is tougher. There's a lot of paddleboard that have been sold out there. Then the paddleboards are being resold to the friends because the one person doesn't ride it, so the other person wants to buy it. But you have to be so creative. We paddle 12 months out of the year. Right? I have events every single weekend. We have paddleboard cleanups, which I have done every single weekend. We go and paddle and clean along the shores of Long Island. We have winter paddles, right? Every holiday you have to take advantage of that, right? You got a Halloween paddle, come in your witch's outfit. We had a Thanksgiving paddle. We came and we brought goods for the homeless people that can't share Thanksgiving like we might be able to. So you come and paddle and you bring canned goods. Christmas paddle, we had a Santa paddle. Now when I say we paddle in the summer, we paddle all year. We get like 20 people. We have diehards that get out there, and people like to help people. So I have found that if you do something with paddling that relates to helping other people want to take a part of that. People want to do good. They just don't know how to do it. So if you give them the reason of doing something good, they will show up. And it's a lot of work. I mean, trust me, a summer business, a business down in Florida where you can have the luxury of paddling 12 months out of the year, my luxury is like 3 months out of the year, 4 months out of the year. So I have to really, really, really work hard, work from my heart on how amazing paddleboarding is to keep that stoke all year long. Because it doesn't end, right? There's no people like, oh my God, you paddle in the winter? That's crazy. I'm like, why is it crazy? Surfers can surf in the winter. Certainly a paddleboarder can paddle in the winter. You gotta share that love, share that experience. And I think even though there might be a down, I don't even want to say anything like negative about where the industry's going, because that just puts karma out there. You just got to continue to love what you do, and everything will still continue to thrive.
So I guess just kind of piggyback off of that, I've noticed that when I did take ownership of my shop, it seemed like the community around the shop was kind of at a downturn, and things were a little bit sluggish in the area, things were a little bit slow. But we are in Naples in Florida, and we can paddle 12 months a year, and it's beautiful pretty much every day, all summer, all winter long. And I just wanted to do the same thing, get people excited and share that stroke and really have everyone excited about paddling all the time. So I started a bunch of events in my shop, and I found that bringing the community in, we have live local music nights there, we do live art there, we have fundraisers, we got involved with Special Olympics, just really keeping everyone involved, and more than just being a place where people come in and they buy a board and they buy a t-shirt, they also want to come back and listen to their favorite local music, and they want to buy some local art, and they really want to get a feel for the community that is around that shop, and I think that really has helped a lot.
So first of all, I am so excited to hear about you buying this business. I'm thrilled. That is so encouraging. But I mean, I think the creativity is essential. If people don't give consumers a reason to leave their couch, we've got to create places where we have connections on the water and have sociability. And if we don't create an experience for people, they'll just stay at home and they'll look on their computers or their phones and they'll buy online and have it delivered to their house. So how do we create a reason to leave the couch and get off their phones and be social and be with other human beings? And so thank you. It is hard, and you inspire me. But she inspires you, but you inspire us because you're our future.
So I think we have similar numbers in paddleboarding newbies, first timers. You said 80%. So if I take out my local business, we probably have about 85, 90% of first timers that are coming in paddling. So still very new for a lot of people. And I always like to think a little bit bigger than just my own personal business. I want people to have a great time at Lazy Dog, but I also want them to have a great time in Key West. I want them to have a great time enjoying stand-up paddling in the industry. So it's building up the industry in tourism and also my business, and that's my ultimate goal. It's always the bigger picture than just having taking somebody out paddling, and now even more so, I think especially with millennials and it's the fastest growing dynamic demographic. We are looking at people who are looking for the full experience, not just to go out paddling. But when I read my TripAdvisor about 3 years ago, and I was blown away because hardly anybody was just talking about the tour. They were talking about how nice we were and how great we offer pickups, free pickups, and how they dropped them off afterwards, and we gave them a coupon to the restaurant. It was like a full all experience, and I think that's really where we can look at growing our business and really standing out. When I first started paddleboarding, I was the only paddleboard shop, so obviously doing well, and when you get in early, you're going to be the only one, but if you're doing something well, other people are going to come in. And so now, there's plenty of business for everybody, even in a small town like Key West. But the place that we can stand out as a company is with our people and with the experience that we can give to our customers. And some of that, sometimes it's just including, like, we've got our deco brands, backpacks. You can buy them and you can rent them. You know, we've got water. It's one of the new things we've done, got away from plastic, and we do the water, and then people can just refill. It's a great company called Proud Source. But yeah, just really like paying attention to the environment, what people care about, and giving people a full experience beyond just paddleboarding. And one of the things I think I told Paige in the early years was, you know, paddleboarding is great, but there's still a lot of people who love to kayak. And having both is where you're going to be successful, ultimately. And people want to try it, but then they're like, no, okay, I want to go back to, and so we get more and more families now coming out where one person's kayaking and 3 are paddleboarding, or vice versa. So kayaking is still so huge, and I see the shops that really made it from the early years and are still around today offer both.
Any other weird beach toys rentals that you do aside from kayak and paddleboard? We get a call probably every other week for a canoe. You have a canoe in your fleet? You have one?
We get that a lot, but I think a lot of people, they say the word canoe, but they mean kayak. Canoe is just something, they're maybe from the northeast or something, and that's where they do a lot of
Northeast. Did you hear that? She thinks we're all stupid. What's that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, JoJo says I have to tell y'all. So my shop does have kayaks too, but that's called Hooked on Sup because I just thought I was going to do paddleboards, but obviously I did kayaks too. But one of the things I think that helps us keep going is that all of my employees and tour guides are Florida master naturalists. So that's a big thing because they know all the stuff about the wildlife. But we're not all about the education, like let's call the starfish by the scientific name that it is, and blah, blah, blah. We don't do that. We make it fun for everybody. We don't use the big words, but we know the big words in case we get asked. But we get asked things like, do pelicans have eyelids? They're like, I don't know. Actually, I'll have to. But we follow through with that. If we get asked a question that we don't know the answer to, when we take photos throughout the tour and we email them to them free of charge, which is a huge thing. It helps us keep phones off of the tour, and it helps. And people think it's a great service. They go home with these memories, and I can't imagine. It kind of gets humbling sometimes to think about how many photo memories that people have and think that that's the best vacation of our life. That our photos taken on our tour. People tell us that. So anyway, but back to the Florida. I don't even know what I was going to say now about the Florida Master Naturalist. But anyway, I think it's just being able to be educated and not just go. Everybody knows that's a mangrove, but do you know that the black mangrove is the salt on the back of the thing, and you can lick it. And the old Florida pioneers used to put black mangrove leaves in their stew over the fire to season it. Those are cool little facts that people will always remember from other vacations, and you can add in that little element.
And do pelicans have eyelids?
No, they do not, but they do have a membrane.
All right, it's called Women in Watersports. It takes a village, and so the question we want to ask is, we're in a room full in a sport with a history of bros and all us surf dudes, and I would say that has sanded off a little bit, but I'm sure there's still challenges out there, and we'd like to hear what obstacles perhaps you have had to overcome in this industry specifically, being a successful individual, woman or not, but the obstacles that you have had to overcome, being labeled that, seeing that, and wanting to grow your business and own your business, and you are, in each case, you are your business. So does anything come to mind where, you shared a good one before we started, so we should go back to that, but anything that jumps out?
I'm just going to say I've never had an issue. I personally have never had an issue. It could be because I walk around the place like I own everything, I don't know, but I've never felt that I was being discriminated against or that someone wasn't taking me seriously. I think just being the expert in your field and always staying as educated as you can above everything, then they're going to look at you and respect you because you are the expert.
Same thing. I haven't really had any issues. It's interesting though because I just want to be seen as a kick-ass businesswoman, whether female or male. I don't want that to be an issue. I don't want someone to say, "Hey, you're pretty awesome for a female," you know. And so, but on the other hand, the amount of people that come up to me pretty much daily, the customers, and say, "Is this female? Female? Oh, this is awesome." And so, on the other hand, I can see there's a marketing opportunity for me to present myself as a female in business. But there's the, I don't know, ego or whatever it is, to just be like, look, I just want to be a good business person. You know, when I was in corporate before I moved to Key West, and there was very few women, and I wanted to just be an awesome, you know, employee. I didn't want to just be like, well, yes, who's one of our very few female executives? You know, it's just take that out of it. But so there's a huge opportunity to market as a woman in business. So many groups on social media that you can really tap into and really get involved in and get noticed. So we actually have a really good opportunity to be noticed in the industry, and more so than the men do.
Wow, this one's a hard one to answer in some ways. It might reflect the fact that my husband is my business partner. So I've always we've had a place at the table together. And before I got into the paddleboards industry, I was in the ski business in Europe, which was very male dominated. And there's a confidence thing, girls. I think if you're listening to this talk, and I mean, I respect the men in this business incredible, and I feel like they've always been really well together. But those are the ones that are talking to me. I don't know, maybe the boys club are the ones that aren't including us, and just, I don't care. And that's that confidence. And, I think one of the things you asked us, you know, if I had advice for my younger self, starting out many years ago, which is like, just have more confidence. Don't doubt yourself. And just, you know, be at the table. Don't feel like you're being excluded. And if you feel like you're being excluded, make your way and sit down and talk, because they're your friends, they're your husbands, and maybe they're a jerk, but it doesn't matter whether they're a male or a woman, you know, male or female. It's about this person, and just have more confidence.
Again, my story, complete opposite. So I too don't want to just be a successful businesswoman. I just, you know, successful shop owner, someone who came in and did good for her shop. But me coming in brand new and much younger, I bought the business from an older male. And so he had built up, you know, for over a decade, a customer base of people who trusted him. We do paddleboards and kayaks, and we do rentals. We have several locations. We do repairs also. We have a full repair shop. And we install roof racks. I mean, we do a little bit of everything, and he trained me on all that stuff, and I learned everything from him. But just coming in as the newbie, you know, people would come in and say, oh, well, Chris used to fix my kayak. It's got this hole. I need it patched. And they would look at me and they would say, who are you? You know, so I did have, you know, some discrimination coming up against me, but I think more just being on the new side is completely different. You know, someone who has started from the beginning probably doesn't deal with that as much, but just not backing down and being confident, just showing people that you are not an idiot. It doesn't matter that you are a little bit newer and you maybe are a female, but you're not an idiot. You know what you're doing, and just always being hardworking and just consistent across the board, I think has helped that a lot. And I've noticed that over the years that slowly has gone way, way down for me, and I deal with it on a way smaller basis, almost never now. So that is nice. It does go away.
All right, gear change, marketing 101. So in every case up there, you are all the faces of your business. I would say I can probably open up all your Instagrams. You don't have to scroll too far, and I will see your smiling faces on there. So the question is, control freak?
Only employees.
Only employee? But the question is, doing it all yourself? So So how much is enough? What's effective to you? I mean, obviously you want people to see what you're doing and that you're out there and that you're living it. But it can obviously take a ton of our time and be a huge distraction. When you're gonna wake up in the morning, they say people scroll through the height of the Empire State Building daily on their Instagram. And having a 15-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter, I'd say it's much bigger than just the Empire State Building. But how do you balance not getting stuck on the screen and staying out on your board? But is it a huge marketing tool for you? Are you running ads? Are you spending a lot of money on radio? How do you say that word? Radio? Okay. What's working for you in the marketing world? And then your presence, what are you doing to drive that through social media and beyond in a real way? So these guys and girls as real shop owners who are wanting some example, like what's worth spending my time and limited resources of cash on? Go.
I actually have a lot of success through Instagram, and I personally am not on social media very much. I don't like it. I have two very small children, and I don't want to set the example of being on my screen all the time for them. So I definitely struggle with the balance of making sure there's a presence and then not being the only presence. So I actually force my employees to post on Instagram for me, and they do all that stuff. They're younger than me, so they're better at it anyway. And that Instagram and Facebook definitely that's what works for us, 100%.
Without Facebook, I don't know how I would have even started my business. 10 years ago, Facebook was everything. You could start a business and put all this marketing and put all this stuff out there, and just I sat at my dental job. I was a surgical assistant. I would sit there between patients and just post stuff, and I really started running my business from Facebook. I mean, obviously we had a website, but I got way more business from Facebook. Do I pay to post? No, because I'm from the days of when Facebook was free and they showed everybody, and we have 8,000 followers on Facebook. Facebook probably shows 125 people in one of my posts now, but I just refuse to pay to boost that stuff unless I'm having a huge event like a race or something. Probably one of my best advice to new shops about getting advertising or getting stuff out there is work with your local. If you're in a tourist area, work with your board of tourism. Go to your chamber of commerce meetings. Do that and get the business owners to know you. But then work with your tourism, your board of tourism. Our local board of tourism. I'm in Allegiant Magazine, Sunseeker. At least 3. They go out 4 times a year. I'm in at least 3 magazines every year, and it's just a different article about my business that's way more important and gets read way more times than one of the advertisements in the back of the book that I could never afford to pay for. So I've been on just the number of things. I've been on, like Island Life TV, and I've been on in Brides Magazine, and I've been on, it's the things that they've gotten my exposure for is well into the hundreds of thousands of dollars of advertising over these years. And all I do for them is when they have media in town and they want to show them the water, or they send them to me, and I do free tours for them. I get them on one of my tours for free. They know they can always call me and get any media person that's in town.
So the conduit to make that happen is simply the relationship that you're keeping going with your local chamber and tourism.
Absolutely. I mean,
I'll be that person.
My local board of tourism, I think originally was charging like $50 a year for you to be able to go to any of their events and their things and all this kind of stuff, and I signed up. And I just started, and I went there. You can't just sign up and put your name on a list. It goes in a directory, and then they're going to start working with you. I just went and met people, and paddleboarding was new, and everybody wanted to know about it. So this was a great resource for them. We're a tourism area where I'm from, and so it's just you have to actually put the effort in and go meet them and let them know that you are an expert that they can trust their media people with, that are writing articles about our location and stuff. They have to know that they're putting them with someone safe and where they're going to have a good time. But so just keeping up that relationship with those folks for 10 years now, I can't even my business would not be what it is without that Florida tourism. So I can't even stress enough how important that can be to some businesses.
Well, like you've all been saying, Instagram and Facebook has been my #1 boost. People are amazed at what the shop does, what I do. They're always commenting. One thing that's very important is to comment back. Right? People like the attention that, oh, you know, Karen replied to me, or, you know, thank you so much for asking about, you know, my dog dying or something. So to keep that relationship, even you might not ever see somebody on Instagram or Facebook, but they took the time to comment about my post, and I feel completely obligated to take the time to comment about, to respond to their post. I went to a couple of the local schools and I donated paddleboard lessons to the PTA to come down. I'm very active with the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, right? There's actually a paddleboarding patch that they can get. So I reached out to a lot of local scouting, you know, groups, and they come down, you know, and you post that picture, then that reaches a whole nother level of people. I do a lot of fundraising. So I might take a board and have a raffle on it, and the proceeds for that. And I don't really make any money on it because, again, I like sharing the fun and the experience for everybody. But I'll take a paddleboard and I'll raffle it off to the local animal shelter. And I cannot tell you how many people will spend $20 to take a raffle for a paddleboard, and the proceeds that I make from it will go towards the, you know, Babylon Animal Shelter, or you know, any other groups that we do. I've been on TV several times because the hype in social media also gets the attention of local news people, you know, and that's all free advertising. That's great.
Blessing in disguise when your building burns down.
No,
right?
well, that wasn't a good thing. That wasn't a good
The
thing.
tragedy of that was, but the way you handled it, I mean,
Yeah, I kept people, you know, when that happened, I was live on Facebook, you know, and I get like choked up even when I talk about it to this day, but the amount of people around the world that reached out to me, I mean, I'm literally like the world, like paddleboard China, you know, and, you know, SUP of Sweden, and all over, saying how sorry they were for what had happened. I realized then that my little paddleboard community in Babylon was more than just in Babylon. It was something that was worldwide. So it is special, and that just confirms to me that this sport is still strong, and there's a lot of people in it that are going to stay in it. I think anything you do, if you do it with passion and you do it from your heart, is going to succeed. You know, I don't look back. I mean, I do look back, but I try not to look back, and I'm just trying to be innovative and thinking of what more things I can do to keep the sport going. But social media, Instagram is really important. But just get back to people, like when they comment, instead of just always doing the heart, you know, like, oh, nice, hi, heart, or, you know, thumbs up, thumbs up. It's hard to take the time. I spend about 3 hours a day on social media, so I try to keep it up during the day, but I also, at night when I get home, go through everything. Okay, you're going to have to shut me off on this one because I could talk all day. I'll be over at the main stage at 3 if you want to hear. I'm going to do about 20 minutes on social media and stuff. But if you want to learn how to do something, or if you want to go on a vacation, if you want to learn how to do something, what do? You Google it. Google is where the attention is. It's 75% of search is Google. And so social media, Instagram and Facebook get a lot of attention. And absolutely you have to be there. You don't have to be there, but you're going to be much more successful in your business if you are there. And you don't have to sit there and scroll the state of the Empire State Building. 80% of your time, or even more, should be spent on actually commenting on other people. And again, not just the hearts, at least 3 words Instagram and Facebook says. When you comment, not just an emoji, at least 3 words, maybe even more, but no less than 3 words to keep that algorithm and keeping you up on.
It almost has a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Google is definitely a way to go. Google My Business, I don't know if you all have it. If you don't, get it, sign up for it. But one thing I don't think I've realized recently, I was just up at a conference, a tourism conference, is that you can post on Google and you're going to get 10 times more likes and comments than you are going to get on any social media. The number 2 place where people go when they want to learn how to do something or they want to, they're thinking about traveling, where do they go? YouTube. So videos, putting all your content on videos and then just sharing it on social media. So as much as Facebook and Instagram get all the attention and love, and yes, we definitely need to be there, Google and YouTube are definitely 2 of the most important ones to get to go there. And as far as the tourism board goes, absolutely, if you live in a tourist destination, the tourism council gives me $17,000 a year to put on my paddleboard classic race. And it all goes towards outside advertising. I have to spend that money with Sup Journal, or when Stand Up Journal was here, with Distressed Mullet, or John Bosan. So they're giving me money to promote my race, but I have to spend it outside of Key West on advertising to bring people into Key West. And the whole idea is about putting heads in beds, is the tourism mindset. And so on top of that, once they know you're established with them, they have contracts every year where you can bid. And all the events in town, that's where people go and get their tourism dollars. So it could be a lobster festival, they're gonna get money. Your Fantasy Fest in Key West, they get money. But the other part of it, once you get in with them, is that they send any influencer, blogger, media, they send them to you. And so at least once a week we have somebody, and we're sending them out for free on an already existing tour, but these bloggers are writing about us nonstop. So it's a super free resource and can be super beneficial for you, and not a lot of people know about that.
Wow. So everyone does their own social media stuff, right? So me too. If you go to MTI Life Jackets, that's me. And it can be really time consuming. And you've got little kids, and I really appreciate the fact that you don't want to set an example of you being on your screen all the time. I am not a hipster, but I'm a mother of hipsters. My kids are all in their 20s. And as I like Instagram, because I love the picture part, you don't have to be too wordy. I like Facebook because it's good with the videos. I like both of them, but I'm having a social media crisis right now, personally. I'm really, really worried about Facebook, first of all. I really don't like these new algorithms, and I'm not really sure of who's really seeing my content anymore. And it's a little different because we're a brand and you're a location. But I'm having a little difficulties with Facebook in particular right now. I'm suspicious. So I'm going to come to your talk later. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's such a changing thing, and we're all making things up all the time and trying to understand what the rules are because we change them all the time. Post and hope for the best. There you go. Social media by the spaghetti on the wall theory.
Sue, I want to go back to you just for a second. Are you actively? We'll try to find something for you. Towels, napkins. Are you actively buying Google AdWords? Are you that deep into the algorithm and sponsoring things?
No, I'm not. I actually just sat with somebody the day before I came here, just because I want to understand it. But I don't do any paid advertising. I've played around with it just to understand it because I'm interested and I'm trying to learn. But we don't do any paid advertising.
So that's a really important factor in our industry. Zero paid advertising. Like, will I pick up, if I come to Key West and I'm in the hotel and I pick up a tourism guidebook, will I see your ad?
No, I actually made a pact with myself. When I left corporate 22 years ago, we used to spend $80,000 on a 2-page ad in GQ, and I thought it was the biggest waste of money, and it was all about the president's ego. And I told myself that I would never do a print ad. And I do with the tourism dollars and with Stand Up Journal right now, Sup Journal. And but yeah, I just feel like there's so much, better ways to spend our money out there. And when I first started, my biggest expense was payroll. My second biggest expense was advertising. And now, honestly, I could pretty much advertise my entire company for basically nothing. But so, is it worth going to Google Ads? I absolutely, yeah. I think that's going to be probably our next step going forward. I'm going to play around with it, especially just, whether it's getting people to buy your products. I don't know if you guys have like merchandise, and or whether you're trying to get them to come to your town, or whether you're trying to get them to just come on rental. There's lots of different angles.
And not as easy as Facebook or Instagram, those Google AdWords, but there's resources out there to learn them. There's a lot of YouTube videos about them. My cautionary tale would be very careful, because all of a sudden you can open up your monthly credit card statement and you've spent $900 or $9,000 sponsoring Google Ads. So tiptoe into this and kind of know what you're doing. Sue also mentioned Google My Business. If you're not on Google My Business, you're gonna do it tonight. Worst case, you're gonna do it before you head home. You're gonna establish your business, you're gonna claim your business, you're gonna own your business, and then do something else. Post once a week or once a month to your Google My Business page, and then go through some of your best pictures and throw them up there. Google's really cool about talking back to you, something Facebook and Instagram don't do that well. And Google will send you an email all of a sudden and say like, hey, remember that picture you posted last July? We've shown that to 114,000 people, just so you know. So there's little things that you can do. They're free, and it's just a real tangible step that you can do owning your business there. We all kind of get suspicious on what the algorithms look like, but I will tell you, if you're friends with Google, there's a good chance they're going to be friends back. So if your hours are correct, if you update your hours, if you post once a week, if you add some new pictures and some new content, and you take care of Google, and your website is good, there's every good chance Google will take care of you. So a little competitive advantage.
And they also have a call to action button that you can put with your photos. So you can do a book now, buy now, you can put that in, and people can buy right off of your Google search.
So we're gonna wrap up real quick, but book now, and then probably for the four of you, are y'all doing rack cards? Are you distributing rack cards around town? Is that a thing? Rack cards or no? Okay, rack cards. So rack cards are we find those important. And then book now. Are you using an online booking portal? So embracing that technology that's out there, so that you can wake up in the morning and see who's booking, where you're supposed to be, and how many boards and kayaks and canoes you're going to need at the one canoe that you're going to need at your next event. Anything else?
No, I don't do that because the weather changes so much. I did it a couple times and I stopped doing it because people came in and they were furious that I said, no, you cannot paddleboard. There's 15 to 18 knots out of the southeast. I cannot put you on a board, especially if you've never paddleboarded. And it created more of a headache. People will come in and, I don't want to talk negative about it because I'm sure there's a lot of great things, but for me, when somebody like your height and size comes in to rent a paddleboard and I only have 10 sixes and you can't stand up, it doesn't make me look good and it doesn't make the sport look good because I just outfitted you with a paddleboard that you can't stand up on. So that's like my little take. But I do magazine ads. Since day one, I've started my business with Stand Up Journal, and I feel it solidified who I was in the industry a little bit more. When I would go to these expos and trade shows, people would say, oh, you're Karen from Southshore Paddleboards, or oh, I just saw your ad, it's such a great ad. So for me, it is an expense, and I do save for that, but it kind of hones in like that I am somebody out there. I'm just not like a mom and pop store, even though I am, but to everyone else, they might think I'm bigger than that.
Awesome. Well, we made a promise to get everybody out of here on time and respect your time here at Surf Expo. So once again, thanks to Surf Expo and ladies for putting this on. Would you all give a warm thank you to our panel? And if you have a dying question that we were just unable to get to, try and catch them before their next appointment. But thanks so much. Thank you for sharing your stories. And thanks for doing what you do, and go out there, kick ass, and repeat.